Welcome to our deep dive. Today we're going to be unpacking the legacy of Lotfi Zadeh
Oh, a true pioneer.
in the world of AI.
Really revolutionized things.
We're basing our conversation on an essay from AIVIPs.org
Okay.
that highlights his groundbreaking work in fuzzy logic.
Yeah, what's so fascinating about Zadeh is that he really dared to challenge the very foundation of computing, which back then was this very rigid world of ones and zeros.
Right.
He envisioned a system that could embrace shades of gray.
Okay.
A concept that seemed almost heretical at the time.
So instead of forcing AI to think in black and white terms,
Yeah.
he wanted it to grapple with the uncertainties that we humans navigate every day.
Exactly. He introduced this concept of fuzzy logic.
Okay.
A system that recognizes that truth exists on a spectrum. I mean, think about it. Is a room warm or cold?
Yeah.
It depends, right?
Totally.
70 degrees might feel warm to someone bundled up in a sweater,
Right.
but chilly to someone in shorts and a t-shirt. Fuzzy logic captures that human sense of relativity.
So I'm starting to see how this could be game-changing for AI.
Yeah.
Instead of just spitting out a yes or no answer,
Right.
it can consider all those shades of meaning in between.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is that Zadeh's background played a huge role in his ability to think outside the box.
Okay.
He was born in Baku, Azerbaijan,
Wow.
a multicultural hub where East met West, and later lived in Iran. This exposure to diverse perspectives likely influenced his challenge to the binary thinking
Interesting.
that dominated computing at the time.
So it's like his upbringing gave him a built-in understanding of nuance,
Yeah.
which he then applied to the world of computers.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And this wasn't just some armchair philosopher either.
Yeah.
Zadeh had a solid foundation in the traditional world of logic and control systems. He earned degrees from MIT and Columbia,
Wow.
which meant he truly understood the system he was about to disrupt.
So it's important. He wasn't just rejecting the existing paradigm out of ignorance.
Right.
He was building on it, pushing it further.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what he did with his groundbreaking 1965 paper, Fuzzy Sets.
Okay.
It was a landmark moment, but surprisingly, it wasn't met with universal acclaim.
Really?
In fact, it sparked quite a bit of pushback from the scientific community.
Wait, why would anyone resist an idea that seems so brilliant now?
Well, imagine yourself as a scientist at that time, steeped in the precision of binary logic.
Okay.
Then along comes Zadeh, proposing that truth can be fuzzy, that things can be partially true or partially false.
Right.
It was a radical shift.
I see how that might ruffle some feathers
Yeah,
in a field that prized certainty and absolute answers.
absolutely.
But Zadeh persevered, and fuzzy logic eventually gained traction.
It did.
Okay, good.
And it paved the way for a whole new approach to computing, soft computing,
Okay.
which encompasses not only fuzzy logic, but also neural networks and probabilistic reasoning.
So it's like he helped usher in an era where AI systems could better reflect the complexities of the real world
Yeah,
with all its uncertainties and ambiguity.
exactly. And this shift had a profound impact on many areas of AI, especially in how machines process and understand human language.
Oh, I can only imagine language is all about nuance.
It is.
Double meanings.
Yes.
Interpretations that shift. Depending on the context, how on earth does fuzzy logic help AI crack that code?
Well, think about how we use words like slightly, very, or almost.
Okay.
These are degrees of intensity
Right.
that traditional AI systems struggled to grasp.
Yeah.
Fuzzy logic allows us to represent those nuances mathematically.
So instead of just saying this email is spam,
Yeah.
a fuzzy logic system could assess the degree to which it exhibits spam-like characteristics.
That's a great example. It
Okay.
allows for more sophisticated sentiment analysis, too. We can go beyond labeling something as simply positive or negative and actually quantify how positive or negative it is on a scale. This sentiment degree, as it's called, gives us a much richer understanding of the language being used.
That's fascinating. It's like teaching a computer to read between the lines.
In a way it is, and fuzzy logic isn't just about language.
Okay.
It's revolutionizing machine learning, specifically clustering algorithms.
Right.
Instead of rigidly assigning data points to one category or another,
Right.
fuzzy clustering allows them to belong to multiple clusters to varying degrees.
So instead of saying this image is a cat or a dog,
Yeah.
we're saying, well, it's kind of cat-like, but also has some dog-like features.
You got a prime example is the fuzzy C means clustering algorithm.
Okay.
It uses a membership function to determine how strongly each data point belongs to each cluster.
I'm starting to see how this flexibility can make AI systems much more robust in the real world,
Yeah.
where things are rarely so neatly defined.
Absolutely. And the applications go far beyond what we've discussed so far.
Okay.
There are real-world examples of fuzzy logic in action everywhere, from expert systems to consumer electronics.
Oh, don't leave me hanging. Tell me more about how this fuzzy logic thing is impacting our lives.
Let's start with expert systems. AI designed to mimic human experts.
Okay.
Fuzzy logic has revolutionized fields like medical diagnosis. Symptoms are rarely black and white.
Right.
You might have a slight fever or a pain that's hard to describe.
Yeah.
Fuzzy logic allows medical AI to handle that nuance.
So instead of asking, do you have a fever?
Yeah.
A fuzzy expert system could ask, to what degree do you experience feverishness?
Exactly.
That seems much more in line with how doctors actually think.
Exactly. And this approach is being applied in finance to assess risk
Okay.
and in environmental science to model complex ecosystems.
Wow.
It's like fuzzy logic is the bridge between the precise world of computers and the messy reality of the world we live in.
It's giving AI a dose of human intuition, isn't it?
You could say that, and it's not just about expert systems.
Okay.
Think about robots and autonomous vehicles. Traditional control systems rely on fixed rules,
Right.
but fuzzy logic allows for smoother, more adaptive adjustments based on sensor feedback.
So if a self-driving car encounters an unexpected obstacle,
Yeah.
it can react more intuitively like a human driver would?
Precisely. Fuzzy logic helps it navigate those unpredictable situations.
Okay.
And this technology isn't limited to high-tech fields.
Uh-huh.
It's in our homes, too.
Really?
Think about appliances like washing machines and air conditioners.
Okay.
They use fuzzy logic to optimize their performance based on user preferences and environmental conditions.
Wait, so my washing machine might be using fuzzy logic right now?
It very well could be.
Wow.
To decide how long to wash my clothes.
To decide all this?
Yeah, it can detect the load size, fabric type, and dirt level.
Wow.
Then adjust the wash cycle accordingly.
So Zadeh's work isn't just theoretical.
No.
It's making our everyday lives easier.
Absolutely, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
But like any technology, fuzzy logic has its advantages and disadvantages.
Now you've got me wondering, what are the potential downsides
Yeah.
to using a system that embraces so much ambiguity?
Well, one criticism is that defining those fuzzy sets and rules can be subjective. What constitutes somewhat true for one person might be different for another.
Yeah.
This reliance on human judgment can be a challenge.
So in a medical diagnosis system, you wouldn't want the definition of a mild symptom
Right.
to vary wildly from doctor to doctor.
Exactly. Another limitation is computational complexity.
Okay.
Processing all those fuzzy rules and degrees of truth can be resource intensive, especially as the number of variables increases.
Right.
It's a trade-off. You gain flexibility and nuance,
Yeah.
but you might sacrifice some speed and efficiency.
It seems like we've only just begun to explore the full potential and limitations of fuzzy logic.
I think that's right.
It's a powerful tool, but like any tool, it needs to be used thoughtfully.
You're absolutely right. And despite its limitations, fuzzy logic has continued to evolve alongside other AI innovations.
Now that's what I call adapting to the times.
Yeah.
Tell me more about how fuzzy logic is being integrated with newer AI approaches.
One exciting development is the merging of fuzzy logic with neural networks,
Okay.
creating what we call neurofuzzy systems.
So if they're combining the fuzzy world with the neural world,
Yes.
what's the advantage of that?
Well, neural networks are great at recognizing patterns, but they sometimes struggle to explain why they reach certain conclusions.
Okay.
Fuzzy logic can add that layer of explainability,
Uh-huh.
which is crucial in many applications.
So the neural network does the heavy lifting, and then fuzzy logic comes in to make sense of it all like a translator.
A very insightful analogy.
Okay.
And fuzzy logic is also being combined with genetic algorithms and expert systems,
Very cool.
creating hybrid systems that are even more adaptable and robust.
So it sounds like fuzzy logic is far from being a relic of the past.
It's not.
It's actively shaping the future of AI.
Absolutely. And Lotfi Zadeh's legacy extends far beyond the technical aspects. His thinking has influenced a whole generation of AI thought leaders.
Let's talk about that legacy and how it's shaping the future of AI research.
Okay, Zadeh's concept of soft computing has been incredibly influential.
Yeah.
Remember, it's this broader idea of embracing uncertainty and using approaches like fuzzy logic, neural networks, and probabilistic reasoning to tackle real-world problems.
Right.
It's a whole different way of thinking about AI.
It's like he gave us permission to acknowledge that the world is messy,
Yes.
and our AI system should reflect that.
Exactly. And that idea has inspired pioneers in various fields of AI, from probabilistic reasoning to fuzzy logic advocacy. They've all built upon Zadeh's foundation in their own ways.
His work has really blossomed into a whole ecosystem of ideas. And where do you see fuzzy logic going from here? What's next for this field?
Well, I believe that as AI continues to evolve,
Yeah.
fuzzy logic will become even more integral to its development.
Okay.
It's uniquely suited to address the challenges of an increasingly complex and data-driven world. Think about self-driving cars navigating unpredictable traffic, or financial models trying to predict market fluctuations.
Right.
Fuzzy logic helps those systems grapple with the inherent uncertainty in those situations.
So Zadeh's vision of a more human-centric AI is becoming a reality.
It is. We're seeing it in the development of intelligent agents, virtual assistants, and other AI systems that are designed to interact with humans in a more natural and intuitive way. And fuzzy logic is playing a key role in this evolution.
It's amazing to think about the ripple effect of one person's ideas.
It really is.
He truly changed the course of AI.
He did.
But even with all these advancements, I'm sure there are challenges that researchers are still trying to overcome.
Of course, no technology is without its limitations, and fuzzy logic is no exception. One of the biggest challenges is developing robust and reliable fuzzy systems that can handle the complexities of real-world applications.
Okay.
As we move towards more complex AI, like autonomous driving and personalized medicine, the demands on these systems increase significantly.
So it's not just about making fuzzy logic work.
Right.
It's about making it work efficiently and at scale. What are some of the specific hurdles that researchers are facing?
Well, one challenge is designing fuzzy systems that can process vast amounts of data and make decisions in real time.
Okay.
Another is developing standardized methods for defining and evaluating fuzzy sets and rules. Remember, we talked about the subjectivity issue.
Right.
What's somewhat true can vary from person to person. This can lead to inconsistencies and make it difficult to compare different fuzzy systems.
It sounds like we need more rigorous and objective ways to measure the performance of these systems.
Exactly. And we also need better tools and techniques for integrating fuzzy logic with other AI approaches.
Okay.
As we move towards hybrid AI systems, ensuring those different components work together smoothly is crucial.
So it's not just about developing individual technologies in isolation.
Right.
It's about figuring out how to connect them and leverage their combined strengths.
Precisely. And then there's the challenge of explaining fuzzy logic to a wider audience. It can be a complex and abstract concept, which can hinder its adoption and understanding.
It seems like we need to do a better job of demystifying fuzzy logic.
Yeah.
And showcasing its real-world benefits.
I agree.
If we want more people to embrace it.
The more people understand the power and potential of fuzzy logic, the more likely it is to be embraced and applied in new and innovative ways.
Well, I think this deep dive's a great step in that direction.
I agree.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the fundamental principles of fuzzy logic to its cutting-edge applications and the challenges that lie ahead.
Yeah.
It's clear that Lotfi Zadeh's legacy continues to inspire and shape the field of AI in profound ways.
I agree. And as we delve deeper into the world of AI, Zadeh's vision of a more human-centric technology continues to guide us.
Speaking of delving deeper, I'm curious about something you mentioned earlier, the subjective nature of defining those degrees of truth in fuzzy logic.
Yeah.
How are researchers trying to address that subjectivity?
That's a great question.
And make those definitions more consistent.
Researchers are exploring a number of approaches to strike that balance between fuzzy logic's flexibility and the need for rigor.
Okay.
One promising avenue is using data-driven methods to define those fuzzy sets and rules, rather than relying solely on human intuition.
So instead of just relying on expert opinions, they're turning to data to reveal those fuzzy boundaries.
Exactly. This can help reduce subjectivity and make fuzzy systems more objective and reliable. Another approach is to use mathematical optimization techniques to fine-tune those fuzzy sets and rules, ensuring they align with the desired behavior of the system.
So it's like using algorithms to sharpen those fuzzy edges, but without losing the adaptability that fuzzy logic offers.
Precisely. And there's also growing interest in combining fuzzy logic with other AI techniques like machine learning and deep learning to address the subjectivity issue.
Okay, we talked about hybrid systems earlier, but I'm curious to hear more about how these particular combinations are tackling the subjectivity challenge.
Well, in one approach, we're using machine learning algorithms to actually learn the optimal fuzzy sets and rules from data
Okay.
rather than having to define them manually.
So it's like letting the machine figure out the best way to fuzzify the world based on the patterns it sees in the data.
Exactly. And we're also using deep learning to extract high-level features from data,
Okay.
which can then be used to design more sophisticated fuzzy systems.
Hmm.
This helps capture complex relationships that might not be obvious to human experts.
It sounds like these hybrid approaches are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with fuzzy logic.
They absolutely are, and they're helping to address some of the key challenges, including that subjectivity issue, making fuzzy logic even more powerful and versatile.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the incredible world of fuzzy logic and its impact on AI.
It's a fascinating field.
Lotfi Zadeh's legacy is truly remarkable.
It is.
And it's inspiring to see how his ideas continue to shape the future of technology.
I agree, and I think there's still so much more to explore and discover in this field.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, the importance of fuzzy logic will only grow.
Well, I can't wait to see what the future holds for fuzzy logic and its role in shaping a more human-centric AI. But for now,
Yeah.
let's take a short break and come back to uncover even more fascinating aspects of Lotfi Zadeh's work.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Lotfi Zadeh and fuzzy logic.
It's remarkable how Zadeh's vision of embracing uncertainty has really shaped the landscape of AI.
Before the break, we were talking about how fuzzy logic is being combined with other AI approaches,
Yeah.
like neural networks and genetic algorithms. It seems like these hybrid systems are leading to some incredible breakthroughs.
Absolutely. This fusion of fuzzy logic with other methodologies is opening up all sorts of new possibilities, particularly in areas like autonomous systems, predictive modeling, and human AI interaction. We're really starting to see AI systems that can grapple with the complexities of the real world in a way that mirrors human intuition.
Let's dig into some specific examples of how fuzzy logic is being used in these cutting-edge fields. What kind of real-world applications are we talking about?
Well, in the realm of autonomous systems, fuzzy logic is playing a crucial role in the development of self-driving cars, drones, and robots.
Okay.
These systems need to make split-second decisions in environments that are constantly changing and often unpredictable.
I can imagine navigating a busy city street or a crowded warehouse would be challenging even for a human.
Exactly. Fuzzy logic allows these autonomous systems to process information from their sensors,
Okay.
make sense of their surroundings, and adjust their actions on the fly, even when faced with incomplete or ambiguous data. It's like giving them a dose of human flexibility and common sense.
So a self-driving car using fuzzy logic can anticipate the actions of other drivers more effectively
Yes.
and navigate tricky situations,
Yeah.
like merging onto a highway, making it a safer and more reliable experience for passengers.
Precisely, fuzzy logic helps the car's AI system deal with the inherent unpredictability of human behavior on the road. It's not about following rigid rules, but about adapting to the nuances of each situation, just like a human driver would.
That's incredible. What about predictive modeling? How is fuzzy logic being used to make more accurate predictions in areas like finance, healthcare, or even environmental science?
In predictive modeling, fuzzy logic allows us to build models that can accommodate uncertainty and variability in a much more sophisticated way.
Okay.
Traditional models often struggle with real-world data that's messy, incomplete, or constantly changing.
It's like trying to fit square pegs into round holes. The real world rarely conforms to the neat and tidy data sets those models are trained on.
That's a great analogy. Fuzzy logic allows us to incorporate degrees of truth and possibility into our predictions. Recognizing that not everything is black and white, this is particularly valuable in a field like finance, where markets are influenced by so many factors that are impossible to predict with absolute certainty.
So instead of saying the stock market will definitely go up or down,
Right?
a fuzzy logic model might say there's a 60% chance it'll go up and a 40% chance it'll go down, acknowledging that there's a degree of uncertainty involved.
Exactly. Fuzzy logic allows us to express those probabilities and uncertainties in a more nuanced and realistic way.
Okay.
And this approach is also incredibly useful in healthcare. Fuzzy logic can help predict patient outcome, assess the risks of certain diseases, and even personalize treatment plans based on individual patient characteristics and needs.
It sounds like fuzzy logic is playing a key role in developing AI systems that are not only smarter, but also more human-centered.
Yeah.
It's all about making technology work better for us in a way that feels more natural and intuitive, right?
Absolutely. And this brings us to the fascinating area of human AI interaction.
Okay.
Fuzzy logic is enabling us to create AI systems that can interact with us in a more natural, intuitive, and even empathetic way.
I'm really intrigued by this. How is fuzzy logic making AI more human-like in its interactions with us?
Well, think about how we communicate with each other.
Hmm.
We use subtle cues, facial expressions, tone of voice, and context to understand each other's meaning. Our language is full of nuance, ambiguity, and unspoken assumptions.
Yeah, we don't always speak in perfectly logical sentences like computers do.
Exactly. Fuzzy logic gives AI systems the ability to interpret our vague and nuanced language,
Uh-huh.
understand our emotions and intentions, and respond in ways that are more appropriate and helpful.
Okay.
We're seeing this in the development of intelligent agents and virtual assistants
Hmm.
that can engage in more meaningful conversations, provide personalized recommendations, and even offer a degree of emotional support.
That's amazing. It's like we're finally teaching AI to speak our language, both literally and figuratively.
It's a truly exciting development. Imagine virtual assistants that can not only understand your requests,
Right.
but also sense your frustration, offer words of encouragement, or even crack a joke to lighten the mood.
It's like having a personal AI companion that understands your needs and responds accordingly, not just a cold and impersonal machine.
That's the ultimate goal, and fuzzy logic is paving the way for this future where AI seamlessly integrates into our lives as a helpful and understanding partner.
So Lotfi Zadeh's legacy goes far beyond just the technical advancements of fuzzy logic. It's about shifting the way we think about AI and its potential to improve our lives on a deeper level.
You're absolutely right. His vision of a more human-centric AI is becoming a reality thanks to the ongoing research and development in fuzzy logic
Mm.
and its integration with other AI approaches.
It's inspiring to think about how one person's ideas can have such a ripple effect.
Mhm.
But even with all of these advancements, there must be some challenges and limitations that researchers are still grappling with.
Of course, like any technology, fuzzy logic has its limitations.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges is designing fuzzy systems that are robust and reliable enough to handle the complexity of real-world applications.
What are some of the specific hurdles that researchers are facing in making fuzzy logic work seamlessly in these complex scenarios?
One challenge is developing fuzzy systems that can operate efficiently and at scale.
Hmm.
As we move towards more sophisticated AI applications, the computational demands on fuzzy systems increase dramatically.
Okay.
Think about a self-driving car navigating a busy city. It needs to process an enormous amount of data in real time to make safe and effective decisions.
So it's not just about making fuzzy logic work. It's about making it work quickly and efficiently enough to keep up with the demands of these real-time applications.
Exactly. Another challenge is developing standardized methods for defining and evaluating those fuzzy sets and rules.
Right.
Remember, we talked about the subjectivity issue?
Mm-hmm.
What's somewhat true can vary from person to person, which can lead to inconsistencies and make it difficult to compare different fuzzy systems objectively.
It sounds like there's a need for a more rigorous and scientific approach to defining and measuring the performance of fuzzy systems so we can ensure that they're working as intended.
Absolutely. We also need better tools and techniques for integrating fuzzy logic with other AI approaches as we move towards hybrid AI systems.
Okay.
Ensuring that those different components work together harmoniously and effectively is crucial. It's like conducting an orchestra. Each instrument needs to play its part in perfect timing and harmony to create a beautiful symphony.
That's a great analogy. It's not just about individual technologies working in isolation, but about orchestrating them to create something much greater than the sum of their parts.
Precisely. And then there's the challenge of explaining fuzzy logic to a wider audience.
Hmm.
It's a concept that can seem abstract and even counterintuitive at first, which can hinder its adoption and understanding.
It seems like we need to find ways to demystify fuzzy logic and make it more accessible to people who aren't necessarily experts in AI or computer science. Showcasing its real-world benefits in a clear and compelling way could help people understand its value.
I completely agree. The more people understand the power and potential of fuzzy logic, the more likely it is to be embraced and applied in new and innovative ways.
Well, I think this deep dive is a good starting point. We've covered a lot of ground, from the fundamental principles of fuzzy logic to its cutting-edge applications and the challenges that lie ahead.
We have.
It's clear that Lotfi Zadeh's legacy continues to inspire and shape the field of AI in profound ways.
I agree. And as we continue exploring the frontiers of AI, Zadeh's vision of a more human-centric technology serves as a guiding light.
I'm curious, though, about something you mentioned earlier, the subjective nature of defining those degrees of truth in fuzzy logic. How are researchers tackling that subjectivity and striving to make those definitions more consistent and objective?
That's a great question, and it's something researchers are actively working on.
Okay.
One promising approach is to use data-driven methods to define fuzzy sets and rules instead of relying solely on human intuition or expert knowledge.
Okay.
We can turn to large data sets to extract patterns and relationships that can inform the design of fuzzy systems.
So it's like using the data itself to tell us what somewhat true or mostly true actually means in a specific context.
Exactly. This can help reduce subjectivity and make fuzzy systems more aligned with real-world data patterns.
Okay.
Another approach is to use mathematical optimization techniques to refine those fuzzy sets and rules, ensuring they are consistent with the desired behavior of the system.
It's like using algorithms to fine-tune those fuzzy boundaries, making them as precise as possible, while still retaining the flexibility that fuzzy logic offers.
Precisely. And there's also growing interest in combining fuzzy logic with other AI techniques like machine learning and deep learning to address this subjectivity challenge.
We talked about hybrid systems earlier, but I'm curious to hear more about how these specific combinations are being used to tackle the subjectivity issue.
Well, one way is to use machine learning algorithms to learn the optimal fuzzy sets and rules from data,
Okay.
rather than relying on humans to define them manually. This can lead to more accurate and robust fuzzy systems, especially in complex domains where human expertise might be limited.
So it's like letting the machine figure out the best way to fuzzify the world based on the patterns it observes in the data.
You got it. And we're also using deep learning to extract high-level features from data,
Okay.
which can then inform the design of more sophisticated and nuanced fuzzy systems. This can help capture complex relationships that might not be apparent to human experts.
It sounds like these hybrid approaches are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with fuzzy logic and helping to overcome some of its inherent limitations.
They absolutely are. They're making fuzzy logic even more powerful and versatile, enabling us to tackle even more complex and challenging problems.
This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening. Lotfi Zadeh's legacy is truly impressive,
It is.
and it's inspiring to see how his ideas continue to shape the future of technology even decades after he first introduced the world to fuzzy logic.
I agree. And as AI continues to evolve and become more deeply integrated into our lives, I believe the importance of fuzzy logic will only continue to grow.
Well, I, for one, am excited to see what the future holds for fuzzy logic and its role in shaping a more human-centric AI. But for now, we've come to the end of our deep dive.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of fuzzy logic.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you. And remember, as Lotfi Zadeh taught us, sometimes embracing a little fuzziness can lead to the clearest and most insightful solutions.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of Lotfi Zadeh and fuzzy logic.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey exploring the impact of his work.
I know I've learned a lot about how fuzzy logic is already shaping our world in so many ways, from those everyday appliances we take for granted,
Right.
to the sophisticated systems driving innovation in industries like healthcare and transportation.
It really is remarkable how Zadeh's vision of a more human-centric AI is coming to life,
It is.
thanks to the enduring impact of fuzzy logic.
And its ability to bridge the gap between human intuition and the precise world of computers. And it's not just about making machines smarter. It's about making them more intuitive, adaptable, and even empathetic.
Absolutely.
It's about designing technology that works in harmony with human thinking and behavior,
Yeah, in a way that complements us.
not against it.
Exactly. And that focus on human centricity is what makes fuzzy logic so relevant in today's world. As AI becomes increasingly integrated into our lives, it's crucial that these systems
Right.
understand and respond to our needs and preferences
In a way that feels natural.
in a way that feels natural and seamless.
So fuzzy logic isn't just a technical tool.
Yeah.
It's a philosophy of AI design
Yeah, I like that.
that prioritizes human values and experiences.
You put it perfectly, and that philosophy is driving some really exciting advancements in areas like human-robot interaction,
Oh.
personalized medicine, and even the development of AI systems that can understand and respond to human emotions.
Wow. It's mind-boggling to think about what the future holds. But before we get carried away with those possibilities, let's take a moment to recap what we've learned about Lotfi Zadeh and his groundbreaking contributions to AI.
Sounds good. Let's distill some key takeaways for our listener.
So first and foremost, Zadeh challenged the very foundation of traditional computing
Right back to the ones and zeros.
by introducing the concept of fuzzy logic.
It was a radical shift.
This revolutionary idea Acknowledge that the world is full of shades of gray,
Yeah.
and that truth isn't always absolute.
Exactly. He recognized that forcing AI to think in purely black and white terms limited its potential.
Right.
Fuzzy logic allows us to represent and reason with uncertainty and imprecision in a way that's much more aligned with how humans think.
Hmm.
It's a powerful tool for navigating the messiness and complexity of real-world problems.
And we've seen how this tool has been applied across a wide range of domains, from expert systems and control systems to natural language processing and machine learning. Fuzzy logic is enhancing the intelligence, adaptability, and robustness of AI systems across the board.
Absolutely. And it's not just about making machines smarter, it's about making them more human-centered.
Right.
Fuzzy logic is enabling the creation of AI systems that can understand our nuanced language,
Yeah.
interpret our emotions, and interact with us in a more intuitive and empathetic way.
So Zadeh's vision of a more human-centric AI is becoming a reality.
Yeah.
And fuzzy logic has played a crucial role in making that vision a reality.
It really has. And as AI continues to evolve, I believe fuzzy logic will become even more indispensable.
Huh. But, as we discussed, there are still challenges to address.
Of course.
Researchers are working to develop more efficient and scalable fuzzy systems.
Yes, making sure it can handle the demands of the real world.
Standardizing methods for defining those fuzzy sets and rules, and finding better ways to integrate fuzzy logic with other AI approaches.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process, but a very exciting one.
It's an exciting time to be working in this field as we push the boundaries of what's possible with fuzzy logic and its applications. This deep dive has given me a whole new perspective on fuzzy logic and its impact on the world of AI. Lotfi Zadeh's legacy is truly remarkable,
It is.
and it's inspiring to see how his ideas continue to shape the future of technology.
I think it speaks to the power of human ingenuity to develop technology that reflects the nuances of our own thinking.
Well said. Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Lotfi Zadeh's work reminds us that sometimes the most profound insights
Yeah.
come from embracing uncertainty and challenging conventional wisdom.
That's a powerful message that extends far beyond AI.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the world is full of complexity and possibilities, and that we should always be open to new ways of thinking and understanding the world around us.
So as we navigate an increasingly complex and data-driven world, let's remember the lessons of fuzzy logic and embrace the power of nuance, adaptability, and human-centered design.
If you're interested in learning more about Lotfi Zadeh and his groundbreaking work, we encourage you to check out the essay that inspired this deep dive on AIVIPS.org.
Yes, it's a fantastic resource, and as always, we encourage our listeners to keep exploring, questioning, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. After all, that's the spirit of innovation that Lotfi Zadeh embodied throughout his remarkable career.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of fuzzy logic.
Until next time, keep diving deep and embrace the fuzziness.